It's always fun. I mean, if we can cast more games, we may as well, right? Drinking a game every time you say Snute versus HeroMarine? Well, unfortunately, don't think that's going to happen anymore. You've started drinking the bad time, because now we're actually in game. I can start saying other different things multiple times in a row. Alright, let's kick this off to the bottom right-hand side of the map. Our red Zerg player. Representing Team Liquid, it is going to be Snute. He's going up against the blue Terran. To the bottom left-hand side, he also had a pretty great run at IEM Katowice. It is HeroMarine. Obviously not going to give away too many detailed informations about how players did and stuff, just in case people want to watch matches still, catch up on VODs. But we'll whack this out anyway. And sorry, that doesn't make any sense. I was going to say, I still want to give you guys, a rough idea as to how players did, just to give us a bit of contextualization, I guess. HeroMarine coming through the open bracket to be able to qualify into the round of 24, as did most of the foreign players. Pretty much only Showtime and Neeb, I think, were the players who made it to the round of 24 without the need of the open bracket stage. What's up, Karen? How you doing today? What's up, Correct One as well? How you guys doing? Don't forget, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, we'll do some sellout stuff quickly while we get set up in this TVZ. If you're enjoying the stream, enjoying the games, then do make sure you hit that follow button to see when we're going live again in the future. If you want to support the channel, support the casting and all the rest of it, you can subscribe, obviously a great way to support, and you can also donate directly if you'd prefer to as well. So you can do both of those as a way to support the stream and to help us continue to bring you guys consistent, high-level StarCraft 2 casting on a daily basis. Obviously, February was really not our month, to say the least. February was pretty much the opposite of our month. We had so many technical issues, I had personal life stuff to go and deal with. We had a pretty insane January, which meant I needed some time off, then real-life stuff hit in as well. And then we had tech issues. Oh, it was just not the month for us. So, I mean, we did okay in February, but we're going to be back. We're going to be daily streaming now every single day for at least March, probably the majority of April as well. So lots to look forward to. So if you enjoy it, hit us up with a sub, donation, follow, whatever you can do to support. Always greatly appreciate it. Or check out the sponsors, ! Are you in gaming? It's a great way to losing the Reaper. Just slow links as well, that's unfortunate. Which is a great way to support the stream as well if you check out the Are You In Gaming site and sign up and join the WardiTV network. We'll be doing some stuff through them in the next week or two as well. And in fact, you two a couple guys already doing that on the Are You In website, MindGap Puttymaker. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. You're the guys that joined the network, at least. I don't know if I get a notification when people join up through the code, but appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Anyways, let's talk about this game. Hellion-based opening from HeroMarine here. Obviously, this is something we saw one TVZ today. We cast Dark versus Euthermal already. And in that series, we didn't see any Hellion-based openings. We saw a 2-1-1. We saw a 3-Rax Reaper. So the Hellion-based openings give you a lot of versatility in the early stages of the matchup. They give you a lot of different ways in which you can follow up. And that really allows kind of, makes life a bit more difficult as, for the Zergers, they have to figure out what's going on. HeroMarine pokes towards the front. Queen here, though, will help to turn this away. And HeroMarine's going to actually upgrade the Corvid Reactor, so there's just a little bit of a fake out. Doesn't actually want to upgrade Corvid Reactor, I'm pretty certain. Just making a Viking, and just in case Snute scouts in at this point, he's just going to maybe think it's a Cloak Banshee, and that might force him into a couple of Spore Crawls, which he doesn't actually really need right here. So, unless he does build Corvid Reactor, in which case this is a build which I've never seen in my life, I would be very amazed by, and very interested in. Well, there's a Raven, so I mean, maybe? But is this upgrade really worthwhile? Like, to get 25 extra energy at the start of the game? Like, is it really going to make that much of a difference? I mean, I'm intrigued if it actually finishes. You see 6 Roaches on the way from Snute right now. He did invest into a fairly early Roach run. And he's on 3 hatcheries. He's, got a fair amount of drones as well. These Roaches more than anything to help against potential attacks such as Hellbat-based timings, etc. He can turn and use them aggressively if he finds an opportunity. Man, Corvid Reactor is going to finish. I mean, I'm just completely wrong. Like, obviously I'm not keeping up with the European TVZ meta because Corvid Reactor is not quite what you would kind of expect to come out right now. But yeah, I mean, I guess it lines up really nicely. I mean, it's obviously fought out because you can see the Raven finishes just after the upgrade. I just wonder how much that extra 25 energy really means. I guess maybe 2 auto turrets when he first gets across the map here is one of the main things. It's interesting. I mean, if he keeps building Ravens, then obviously it will have some fairly large effects. As you see these Roaches, the Ravager morphing into starting to push across to this left-hand side, so starting to push over the left. The Raven actually pulls back, realizing that he might need to use this for defense here, as these Roaches are continuing to push forwards as well. Snute not seeing any reason why not to be aggressive at this point, so pulls his Roaches forwards and will try and pick off some of these SCVs. There's one auto turret. Here comes the second one as well, perhaps. As these Roaches stop kiting backwards, he'll maybe drop this down. Maybe he doesn't feel the need to. Viking lands, and he'll just keep that energy on the Raven to, drop down an auto turret in the mineral line or so, kill some workers at a later point. Now it's double Raven up. This is something Snute will identify with this push. So that's some information for Snute to work with at the very least. As if you just check his vision, doesn't really see too much else otherwise. So he doesn't know that there's a stim pack follow-up. He doesn't know that there's going to be a bio follow-up at all. He starts to invest into these Roach missile upgrades. Lair on the way up as well right now out of as a player. Snute actually did, during this event, play a lot of kind of Roach Ravager-based games against Terran, even against bio-based playstyles. He did it against Beyond most definitely. So that's something we'll maybe keep an eye out for if we see Snute Ryung later as well. We'll maybe keep an eye to see how his ZvT continues to develop, and we'll see what he continues to do in the rest of this series as well. But for now, most definitely going to be Roach Ravager. I mean, arguably right now, the reason why it's interesting to maybe see the other series is arguably right now, you could say, well, Snute hasn't really seen that it's bio. And so this might just be him responding to what he thinks is a mech-based playstyle, when in fact it is bio. So, yeah, I mean, that's something you could argue as we're going to see this auto turret. But he targets down the Spore Crawl. He actually loses a Raven to the Spore Crawl. A little bit of a miss micro there. No real need to lose that, as we see. A few workers going down. Another auto turret as well. And again, maybe could have target fired down a couple more workers rather than Roaches would have been a lot more valuable. Because the Hellions just down to the south. Again, set up and ready to go. Snute dropping the Infestation Pit as well. Not slowing down at all with his tech up here in this Roach Ravager playstyle. I mean, a few Infestors will obviously pretty much always go a long way when playing with Roach Ravager, a few Fungals. Tablet Corrosive Bowels. We'll see how fast he maybe wants to try and get in towards the Hive as well. I don't imagine the Hive is something he actually really wants to hit anytime soon. As you see the Infestation Pit about to finish up right now from Snute. And these Zerglings continue to go across over to the left-hand side of the map. I think it's going to get found by these Hellions though, and there's still a few Hellions on the map. Snute's still yet to really see any indication of bio-based units. But that said, he does have, okay, now he sees these Marines. He does have just 3 Infestors starting up, which is actually a pretty good number to play against bio, units with anyways. And I feel as though he might have just had it figured out and realized it anyways, because actually, I don't feel as though against mech, Infestors are what you really look to rush out. You're also looking to rush up into that Hive and the Vipers, rather than the Infestors which are aiming to fungal growth, and against mech, Fungals don't do as much. So, I feel as though actually Stu probably had a pretty good idea this was bio anyways, and so didn't actually maybe, always intended to play this Roach Ravager playstyle. Autos continue to come down, and Queens continue to take some damage as well. You can see a couple of drones being picked away at us. A couple of Ravens and the Viking moving away over to the left-hand side. This Burrow upgrade is continuing to come down as well right now. 8 Marines lift up into the medevac, and they're going to start coming through the top side of the map. As HeroMarine just going to continue applying pressure. He's been doing a good job with the Raven auto turrets. Just going to continue to apply pressure through drops now. Maybe try and hit that fourth base, which is set up for Snute here. Just try and slow Snute down a little bit, because so far Snute has been relatively left to kind of play his own game. He hasn't really been. I mean, a couple of auto turrets here and there from the Ravens, but apart from that, not too much kind of going wrong for Snute. Not too much which HeroMarine has focused on. We're going to see another creep tumor going down. That's the nice thing about these Ravens, cleaning up creep without the need to invest into scans. It's another kind of added bonus to kind of opening in this unorthodox way which HeroMarine has set up into on Newkirk Precinct. HeroMarine's top right side are so sad. You're not doing anything just yet. The rock's already knocked down, so you'll have to lift up now and unload once again. I think that's out of vision of Snute, so you won't see those Marines dropping. And so you probably will lose at least a couple of drones here. We'll see how fast Snute is going to respond to this as the Marines stem forwards, and Snute going to lose, barely loses a worker before he pulls away. In the end, he loses 3. He'll probably lose this Roach as well. And there is the lift. 1 Marine goes down as the Zerglings surround it, trap it from getting back into that medevac. And it's, again, it's decent damage from HeroMarine. It's nothing too amazing, but it keeps Snute kind of, realizing what's going on the map and all the rest of it too. Spire, about quarter of the way done. Marines stimming forwards. Hellions as well, looking to see what else is happening. Hive about halfway done from Snute right here, and you can just see that Roaches, Ravagers, Queens, Infestors. It's a good army, but look at the pre-split from HeroMarine. He knows what he's up against. Tank sieging very cautiously towards the edge of the creep as Roaches pushing forwards. Nice burrowed fungal growths coming in. In fact, those are huge fungal growths, and Snute is going to crush his way through this army. No problem at all. Tanks going down as well in the end, and yeah, that was very, very nice. Loses one of the 3 infestors. Maybe didn't really need to pop these infested Terrans out as well. But yeah, that was nice. I mean, nice fungal growths, corrosive bars landed pretty neatly as well. Perfect scan, sees exactly when that hive is finishing. So he knows exactly now the timings at which he has to be worried about potentially Vipers with energy being on the field, Ultrasks being coming out as a transition, or potentially the Greater Spire as well. And there it is, Greater Spire starting on up. So Snoot's goal right now, looking to get in towards Broodlords here with this Roach Ravager Infestor composition, which he's been playing. I mean, Snoot's always loved the Roach Ravager Infestor, and he was one of the players to still play it for a long time despite it falling out of popularity after the early stages of Legacy of the Void. In fact, we've just had IEM Katowice, but I remember in IEM Katowice last year in 2016, it was an event where Snute finished top 2, and he was playing heavily this Roach Ravager Infestor into Broodlord composition to kind of a high level. Now back then I believe it was still kind of very much so in the meta before falling away to Lingbane meta once again. Right now, not so much in the meta game, more so we're seeing kind of Lingbane meta player styles, but Snute playing this composition once again, and let's see what happens here. I think this might be a little bit of an overcommitment. Nice fungal growths, but he doesn't have anywhere near as much army as he needs to. Start cleaning this up, and I mean, infestors are going to get picked off here. Ravagers are getting cut off as well from some units coming in from the top side. And Snute, yeah, messes that engagement up slightly, just doesn't really need to be fighting where he was fighting. And suddenly HeroMarine is pushing across the map to once again, well, apply the pressure and force Snute into kind of a defensive fight where he's forced to fight into the Terran player because he has to make sure he defends his bases. Plenty of Queens ready to go, however, and here we go. Lings, Roaches, Ravagers pushing forwards. Infestors, do they have fungal energy? I think that just a little bit of energy away. Actually, he drops one already. There's a second fungal coming down. I mean, it's a nice spread from HeroMarine, and it's kind of funny, right? Like, whoever attacks across the map just seems to get shut down completely. And then the other player counterattacks, and then they get shut down completely, and they get pushed back, and it goes all over again. It's HeroMarine coming over to the left-hand side now. Roaches, Ravagers, and Queens. A couple of Infestors, too, from Snute, all joining up here. Creep continue to push out onto the map once again. We see a hatchery over to this right-hand side, starting on up. And again, just another scan coming down. You're going to see a few Broodlords starting to morph in here from Snute as well. And a few more Queens just coming up as well. Refinery is about a finish on the 3rd base, so we've got 4th base too. HeroMarine's economy looking good, and I mean, it's Newkirk Precinct. We're starting to get into that split map scenario we're so much kind of expecting to see on this map, as we see the 5th hatchery coming up as well from Snute. So 5th hatch coming up as well. It's about halfway done, and another scan towards the natural expansion. Also just looking to see what is going down. 4 more Broodlords morphing in, and well, Vikings on the way up, so we are going to have to see Snute starting to invest into some Corruptors. I mean, right now, Queens against the first couple of Vikings might be okay, might be more or less good enough to keep these Broodlords fairly safe and to shut down the Vikings quickly. But past 4 or 5 Vikings, I feel as though you really do need to start getting those Corruptors up to soak shots, or at least trade a bit better against the incoming Viking count. Another scan far right side, I'm going to see that creep picked up on right away. I'm just going to be seeing these Broodlords continue to push on forwards. Going to get rid of a Marine right away now. Just looking to kind of, looking to see where this army is. So, Marine does its job. This is Marine 2. Now, Snute getting into that aggressive position once again. Couple burrowed infestors going to be the real threat here. And the scan, though, will reveal them. And again, only 4 Vikings for now, but actually they're going to lead the charge and they're going to start pushing in. First Broodlord might very well just go down now because the Queens are a bit far away, but there's the Transfusers actually keeping these alive. So Broodlord's getting kept fairly healthy here for now as, and here we go, Overseers to the top side. Broodlord's looking to drop down a few Broodlings once again. And these Queens just sat underneath these units. Here we go. Roaches, Ravagers going to have to start coming in as well. Fungal growths not being used at all. There's one fungal to the top side. Hits only a Viking. Really not the best fight at all here from Snute, I don't think, as we see another fungal up to the top doing a bit more now. There's so many Vikings, though. I mean, HeroMarine picked up on what was happening in plenty of time. And again, no Corruptors. Queens aren't enough to get rid of these Vikings. They're not target firing. And everything's just going to go down, Queens and all. And suddenly Snute has lost so much here in game number 1, pulling back over to the right-hand side of the map. Again, being overly aggressive, attacking into positions he doesn't necessarily have to attack into. You know, back at home, his economy is good. He's got plenty of bases. Why not sit back with this good army? And yeah, you give the Terran time to build up, but you also have time to build up into Vipers and into higher tank composition yourself, which actually is, you know, what you need when the Terran player is going to have Vikings, etc. up. Now we see a few Ultras being added into the composition as well, but I feel as though HeroMarine, I feel as though he just has so much time and so much to work with already. I mean, I guess now there's a bunch of Vikings in the sky, which are not really going to do too much. I guess they can work their way through a couple of these corruptors, which are kind of, which have been built but are now not really going to achieve very much at all. And see Scan Skill coming down, and the Terran player just getting rid of some of this creep spread. The more he gets rid of now, again, the better it is for him, the easier it becomes to push on the map. And again, he's going to maybe get a Spore Crawler as well, gets rid of one more Creep Tumor, maybe even just another Scan rather than getting rid of the Spore Crawlers, because the Creep Tumors really are the kind of valuable thing to get rid of right now. Less map control for our Zerg player, less he can use to kind of get back into this game. I mean, Snute now is feeling pretty unsafe because he's also lost creep over to this left-hand side in the center. So he only really has a lot of vision towards the top. He doesn't have that much creep before his 4th, 3rd base. And so he is in kind of a little bit of a tough spot when it comes to making sure he can defend this now. Some Marines and Marauder pushing forwards already. A Ravager about to go down. A RO24 picked off as well. There's a nice fungal growth landing on a lot of these Marines and Marauders tanks as well. And the Ultras will start to engage on in. Another nice fungal down to the south. The Ultras are starting to do the damage they need. +2 melee finishing up during this. But man, there's so many Marauders in this army that these Ultras, they just start to die so quickly. And they do get pushed away to the right-hand side so quickly right here. So quickly. Scan coming down, and Marines and Marauders continue to push forwards. We see a lot of these creep tumors being picked off. Ultras starting to be transfused up by these Queens as well. And we see Marauders from HeroMarine still looking around. There's going to be another creep tumor picked off right here. And, well, still the Scan just coming on in, looking to see what's happening. We're going to be seeing these few drones moving up in towards this forward base. Ghost Academy coming down as well. I mean, HeroMarine with Liberator production too, he's really just setting up into everything he needs to make sure he can counter the Zerg army. And while Snute is maxed out once again, we're getting into this Terran composition that's actually highly efficient in the late game against what the Zerg player has right now. And so we get to this point where suddenly Snute needs to be the player not just maxed out, but also with a bank on his side. And that currently isn't the situation we have here, you know? He's going to be seeing these units just spreading out a little bit, and I mean, Snute's economy has been pretty kind of not great throughout the game. He's had eco leads, but he's mostly been on 60 to 70 workers rather than kind of towards the 80 worker count that you oftentimes have in the ZvT. It depends how you want to play, obviously. And Snute's been playing fairly aggressively, and so hasn't really been looking towards building up a larger bank as he's been looking towards instead. He's taking larger fights. A few Queens out of position, and with the percussive shells, all 3 of those will go down. And it's again just a small loss from Snute. A few Queens, I mean, a few extra transfuses on these Ultras can go a long way. We're going to be seeing a couple of Liberators on the way out once again from HeroMarine, still building these up, and the more of these that come out, the more difficult it becomes. A small drop to the south side will get picked off before HeroMarine responds. At least he can get the medevac out of there. As honestly, even losing Bio at this point in the game isn't too bad, because he's replacing it with Ghosts. You know, he's replacing it with higher tech units. You're going to see HeroMarine starting to take this fight. Liberators here as well. These Ultras, man, they're just disappearing. There's so many Marauders in this army. I'm just going to see Roaches and Ravagers pulling all the way to the right-hand side once again. We're going to be seeing so many of these units from HeroMarine pushing forward still. More Liberators coming in. We see the Nidus now from Snute, giving him some kind of mobility around the map. Something to work with. The reality is, at this point of the game, and with the position he's in, I don't think he's really going to get the chance to start pulling HeroMarine back. Nice fungal growth, catches a lot of Vikings. I mean, we see the Corrosive Bars coming down to try and follow up, and there's another nice fungal, but there isn't really the Corrosive Bars to follow up this time. There they do start to come down now, and he gets rid of the majority of these. And he does have a couple, 2, 3 Broodlords to work with, so getting rid of the Vikings is nice. There's still Liberators though, and I guess the question becomes, do you siege the Liberators, or do you use them to push back the Broodlords? Probably just siege them. I think the Ultras are a bigger threat than 3 Broodlords dropping down Broodlings at this point of the game. Snute trying to rebuild once again. Reinforcements from HeroMarine coming through. He has those snipes now available on the Ghost to help him get rid of Ultras and Broodlords and all the rest of it as well. You see the Broodlings starting to drop on down. The Marauders taking a few shots here and there, but again, I mean, even a couple of Liberators just pushing forward. Some Vikings still around. 2 Queens are here to transfuse. Here we go. It's a messy fight as Snute engages in. Snipes coming down to work his way through some of these Ultras a little bit faster. As both players still sitting around the 180-ish supply marker. No one has won this fight just yet, but it's HeroMarine that still seems to hold position, while it's Snute, he pulls away from the engagement, and now HeroMarine pulling back a little bit himself. I mean, just pulling over to the left-hand side, and, well, Snute can immediately launch a counterattack up to the north, but there's planetary fortresses in position here. HeroMarine playing very safely and just, you know, never taking his first 3 bases away, using those and just sitting back with those mules and scans, and instead making sure he has planetaries at his external bases just to make life easier when it comes to defending against what the Zerg player might start to send his way. And you see Snute now is, I mean, he's not even going to get rid of this planetary fortress, I don't think. And now he's going to be intercepted. These Ultras are going to get cut off. And yeah, he kills a few workers, but if the base survives and these Ultras die, I mean, was this worth 12 workers, 15 workers? I mean, 15 workers is okay. He does just get the plunger, but man, that was risky. In the end, it just works out for him. I mean, you can see here, he's actually this time now, he'll lift up an orbital. He built an extra orbital. Going to put that into position. That just another CC building, so you can maybe just plunge through that next to it, if you would like to instead. And you're still pushing forwards here. Spore Crawler's taking some shots from the static defense of Snute. There's not a lot of it. Nice fungal, but where's the follow-up, you know? How does he really engage into this? Well, he kind of just doesn't. He just doesn't have enough. The Ravagers are out of position. There's not even that many Corrosive Valves available. Snipes coming down, and all of a sudden the Snute army is disappearing. Broodlords are dropping out of the sky as Ultras are disappearing as well. The last Broodlord is about to get shot down. And the last Ultra as well is about to disappear also here. There's actually a couple of Broodlords left, but it's really not going to last too long. Plenty of Vikings in the sky. Snute's supply is just disappearing, and the HeroMarine just sits in this position with way too much. GG. And HeroMarine is going to pick up game number 1 of this best of 3. I mean, just solid. No point in wasting any more time. The faster we get into games, the more games we can cast. Bottom right hand side of the map, our red Terran player. Give it up for HeroMarine. Top left hand side of the map, our blue Zerg player. It is Snute. Wardy, where can I buy posters like the ones behind me? You can't find them. I got mine at BlizzCon. They might still be available in the Blizzard gear store, but I'm not 100% certain. I actually got a really cool new thing to hang up in my office studio at Katowice. I'll tell you what, I'll show you guys after this game if you remind me. It's like a cloth poster. It's like a hanger. It's like a wall hang. I don't know. It's just a picture on cloth, but it looks pretty sick. Anyways, let's do this. To the top left side, Snute is opening up with the hatchery first. HeroMarine bottom right is opening gas. Gas racks, right? Gas racks. Oh, racks gas. My bad. Alright, I mean, either way, it's going to look to be a fairly fast expansion out of HeroMarine, while Snute is, well, just dropping down his hatch gas of his own hatch gas pool, his opening here. Look to see what the builds will be in these early minutes. Obviously, last game with the Hellion-based opening, I'd like to see a Hellion-based opening again in a way, because I feel as though if you open it in one game, and you open it in another game, you can do such a different follow-up. For example, HeroMarine was very passive with his Hellion-based opening last game because he was investing into Ravens, etc. This time, if he makes Hellions, maybe he goes for a Hellbat attack. And if he makes, if he goes for a Hellbat attack, well, so much could happen, right? You could do so much with that realistically. So that could be pretty interesting here as we do see this Overlord. I'll just continue to move down towards the bottom right-hand side of the map. So Overlord's moving across, and we do see the CC just building up on the low ground. Spawning pool about to finish from Snute as well up in the main base, so I'll be finishing in a moment or so here. So pool finishing. What's going on? I mean, factory is on the way as well. We see this a couple of Marines just popping out. Reactor will drop down now too. And yeah, just setting up into this to see where we can go. 2 Marines will push forwards, and there's this Overlord already taking quite a bit of damage, so looks like this first Overlord will go down. Just not expecting the Marines. They're going to be expecting some Hellions and a Reaper instead. And unfortunately, Snute already hitting a little bit of a supply block early in this game, forced to make an Overlord earlier than he would like to. That's a nice little play by HeroMarine. I mean, when you go for Marine-based opening, I wouldn't say you're guaranteed to kill the Overlord, but you've got a very good chance of it because so many Terran players do, so many Zerg players do just assume it will be a Reaper-based opening, so they don't really take any precautions with their Overlord. I mean, what you want to do if you want to get across the map, I mean, you could send it in a different direction, which is a bit less obvious. But even then, if you're caught out of position, if the Marines find it, well, I mean, they can probably pick it off still, even unless it makes it to a high ground somewhere, which is not necessarily going to happen. Anyways, at least seeing the Marines will give some information to Snute as to what is going on at this point of the game, and we see a few Zerglings starting to move out onto the map, so Snute starting to push forwards with these, see what he can get done. And 2 Overlords along the top side of the map as well. And with 2 Hellions coming through the center. So HeroMarine will see what he can do with these. He's actually going to miss those first few Zerglings. I mean, they're not super early Zerglings or anything, but if they can get by and pick off a Mule or an SCV, well, that would be awesome. And it's possible. Link speed kicks in, and they're going to go right for that mineral line. They're going to try and find something. I mean, 2 more Hellions about to pop out. He gets 1 SCV, gets the second 2. That's nice. 2 SCVs for 4 Zerglings. He should be fairly happy with that. Now we do see though an armory on the way, so actually HeroMarine is doing more or less what I was suggesting, Hellion-based opening once again, but this time changing it up to be a lot more aggressive. Going straight into the medevac, and this works so nicely because obviously he's denied that first overload of Snute. Snute has no vision at all as as to what is going on right here. So we're about to have a Hellbat attack with 4 Marines inside a medevac. A bunch of Hellbats. And Snute, well, he just now started his Baneland Nest, but is that already too late? Well, potentially. We're talking about a Baneland Nest coming down now as Hellbats are ready to morph in and get going already. I think Snute might be in some trouble. He's going to have to start making some more Zerglings right here. And here we go. I mean, the Hellbat's going to start morphing in. Marines will drop, and Marines will try and buy some time. Baneland Nest only halfway done. Obviously, got to wait for that to finish and then morph in Banelands as well. He's just started up 6 more drones. I actually think Snute just being caught completely off guard by this right now. And this Hellbat attack from HeroMarine is starting to do quite some damage. Queens are going down. I mean, some drones actually going to pull in over to the right-hand side. Going to surround the Marines, which is probably the best they could hope for at this point. He needs something to try and help pick away at this, but 9 workers killed already. This is not pretty at all. Hellbat's actually getting a little bit of a lift over here. Now this Queen, probably in a little bit of trouble as well, will go down. I mean, what's he meant to do as another Queen pulls in, more Zerglings on the way out. Banes can now finally start to morph in, but I think the damage is already being done by the time Banes are here and down towards the 3rd hatchery. Now there's going to be a few more dead drones at the very least, and Zerglings still going down at the same time too. Snute pulls a few drones in to try and help fight. I mean, he loses another 4 workers because of it, as finding this medevac going to get shut down by the Queen. Actually pulls it away at the very last moment. This HeroMarine will get cleaned out. We'll end up losing everything to the left side, but now he's got the Hellions just diving into the main base, and this is going to be even more drones going down at this point. Only 1 killed so far. The Zerglings doing a decentish job at trying to help defend this, and drones being pulled forwards as well, minimize the damage, try and block these Hellions. It's actually going fairly well, but eventually there's still just too many Hellions, and Snute continues to lose out on drones. A Banshee followed up as well, and so many Queens going down makes this even more difficult to fight against. GG. And HeroMarine actually picks up a 2-0 victory against Snute here from Group A.